Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. Well, it is a Friday morning version of the show. We'll make it a get 'em up out of time version of the show. You know what that means. We open it up to you at any moment to set the agenda as you'd like to see it. Questions, comment, any form of communication you'd like to impart to myself as well as our listeners. The number to do that is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and I will let you in the store. We've got a couple of formalities to go over today. We haven't heard about the Boresha folks for quite a while. It's been at least 3 or 4 weeks. So we're going to have Dr. Angelo Mitsos get a hold of us very shortly and do a segment with him on what's happening with this unique company and unique go-to drinks that they offer. We've been a big fan and a promoter of Boresha products for, it's kind of on 8 or 9 months now. So they'll have a Boresha report. Trying to find out if Ms. Patty Savansky is going to want to dial us up. I'll wait to talk about the TLS program, which launches tomorrow. There may be some fence sitters out there that are just thinking about how to take care of their own personal needs for health and weight loss in the new year, and the TLS program is certainly a way to do it. We'll mention that. Program coming up in the month of January on 19, 20, and 21. We'll talk about that, and still at any moment allow you to come on and set the agenda. Now, looking at the schedule as it is for right now, of course, this afternoon I was supposed to meet with record a show with Dr. Ty Vincent. He's conflicted, and so it is my duty to do this on Saturday. I haven't really done one on Saturday before, but the station was nice enough to cooperate with the both of us. And so I'm going to pre-record my show with Dr. Ty Vincent tomorrow, midday, and it will air on Monday morning. For those of you who have autoimmune diseases, and if you don't know you have one, these are the ones that don't seem to get better with anything else, and then your doctor says, I have no idea what to do for you. That pretty much describes what autoimmune disease leads to. But I'll tell you, Lyme's disease, as we have now learned, has evolved to become, although initially a microbial infection, a bacterial infection, a Borrelia infection due to a tick bite, changes somewhere early on into being a concomitant microbial infection as well as an autoimmune disease. Now, with that information, LDA, now known as LDI, has taken to the forefront to be able to offer advantages that no other treatments that we have ever had can do. Dr. Ty Vincent has been at the helm trying to guide us in this regard. He's been doing LDA, which is low-dose antigen therapy, for a number of years, but in the last year has really taken off to provide all of the doctors, some 90 of us who do LDA work, with the guidance to take care of these autoimmune diseases. And we'll have Dr. Ty Vincent as our guest on Monday, going over the autoimmune issue, and in particular Lyme's disease, and sharing with you what can be done to correct the problem. That's Dr. Ty Vincent. He'll be our guest on Monday morning. Now, following Monday, A good friend of ours. You're beginning to know her very well. Her name is Shannon Gosen. She is our go-to when it comes to another interesting therapy that we have been using for the eye program for years, but are now taking prominence in this office for all other conditions as well as the eye. Well, it turns out they can be benefited too by FSM. That's frequency specific microcurrent, and it is going to get its real debut here in 2015. Shannon will be coming up to Pittsburgh here later on in the month. She'll be coming back in the month of February. A lot of activity. If you are an afflicted one and you have heard about microcurrent, you want to stay tuned to this station and these shows. They're bringing up the speed on it. If you are a practitioner and you're looking for an edge in your practice, you're going to want to stay tuned also, because Shannon feels very indebted to and an obligation to train practitioners to be able to perform at a high level of functioning when it comes to FSM. So whether you are a practitioner or a patient, never mind. Shannon will be our guest on the 19th, and more on that subject as she continues onward with it. Ozone therapies. Of course, we've been doing ozone now for just about, well, we had our discussion initially 1 year ago when Dr. Frank Schallenberger came on our show, and he was with us on January and February and April of 2014. And then along about April, we started to do it in the office. It has become an absolute astounding therapy in reversing so many difficult problems, whether they be systemic or localized pain problems. And ozone therapy has been a big offering and will continue to be in 2015. Let's see. The eye program that we are going to be holding here in the office are for people with serious retinal diseases in particular, who can't seem to get any satisfaction from the conventional medical community. Not that they wouldn't like to, but unfortunately the tools that they have can't really help you if you suffer from things like, well, how about these? Macular degeneration, whether it's wet or dry, there's really no treatment. And those injections, we've learned, is not a treatment to restore anything. In fact, as we've learned in the month of December with Dr. Ed Conrad coming on our show, he calls this the Watergate of eye care in terms of what he has easily labeled a sham and a scam with these injections. They are not cracked up, and they don't produce what they are professed to be able to do. They don't really return any vision. No one ever said they would, but they are causing problems that are serious ones. And so if you have a wet macular degeneration, you really do need to consider another therapy other than those injections. I know you think that's a wonderful therapy. Thank God your doctor can do it. But it is not the wonderful therapy that you've been led to believe. Anyway, MACD is high on the list of eye diseases, retinal eye diseases that can benefit from the Dr. Ed Conrad 3-day treatment programs. And of course, we're going to be holding our January one on January 19, 20, and 21. If you have glaucoma, it's another retinal disease that combines a retinal disease with a plumbing problem. There just isn't a way to relieve pressure in the eye and the buildup of pressure, as well as a innate neurological condition at the level of the retina, leads, unfortunately, in many cases, to total blindness. And we need to stop the further progression of that kind of pathology and back it up. And the Conrad programs enable us to do that too. I'd say the third is a diabetic condition known as diabetic retinopathy. These three are the most common retinal diseases leading to serious consequences with no sign up ahead with conventional treatment of being able to make a bit of difference. And in fact, with those wet injections, maybe even hasten the disease along and other problems. So the eye protocol for this month is going to be 19, 20, and 21, and more on that as time moves on. If you think that you may benefit or like to learn more about this program, I suggest you give us a call here at 724-942-3002. You want to ask for Sister Sarah, and she'll guide you in terms of the logistics involved with such a program. If you're far out of town, we have a hotel that we're working with very close to our office, and we like you staying in our backyard to make it easy to get back and forth here for those 3 days. Okay, let's do this, folks. We haven't had a Boresha report in a while, and our go-to person that knows more about this company than anybody else around is a really well-established podiatrist from up in the Newcastle area. His name is Dr. Angelo Mitsos. He's going to be our guest right out of the chute today to give you what we've affectionately referred to as a Boresha report. We'll be right back in a moment with Dr. Mitsos. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KSB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today. It's a Friday morning version of the show, and we like to do a lot of cleanup around here on Friday, but we also bring to you information about hot topics, especially ones we just launched in 2014, and we are going to continue to support in our new year. Now, we got very comfortable with a company that's one of a kind, making products that are one of a kind. The company is known as Boresha. They make fine drinks of coffee, tea, and lemonade that have such a nutritional benefit that they've caught on to be quite requested here in my office. And we try to give you an opportunity to learn more about them through our shows. The person we've learned the most from concerning the company known as Boresha is Dr. Angelo Mitsos. He's spending some time with us this morning to, I guess, give us our newest and our first 2015 Boresha report. Good morning, Dr. Mitsos, and thanks for coming aboard today.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Courtney. It's good to be back.
It's back. We're in 2015, and it's our first Boresha report. So how about doing me a favor and for people that might not know about Boresha, what is this company? What do they make? And why is it created such enthusiasm over, well, the last, I'm going to say, 6 to 8 months? And we anticipate that it's going to cause more furor as 2015 rolls on. Tell us about Boresha.
Absolutely, Dr. Courtney. Well, you know as well as anybody that we have a serious problem with the obesity epidemic and the type 2 diabetes epidemic. And that's why you've been so focused with the TLS program and other educational programs that you offer. I certainly believe that you're on the cutting edge. So Boresha is providing real solutions to this epidemic. You know, every day we turn on the news and we hear about the problem. However, in my opinion, nobody's really offering real good solutions in a simple format. And so Boresha has come along with all natural products that are absolutely delicious. They're fun products. and we can incorporate them into our lifestyle without making any drastic changes. For example, Boresha lean coffee. This is a thermogenic, meaning a fat-burning coffee. It's like a gourmet coffee. It's absolutely delicious. It incorporates a unique soluble chromium complex that helps balance blood sugar, and it has a proprietary green coffee bean extract. The coffee is organic, meaning there are no pesticides, no fertilizers, and it uses a very unique infrared roasting process. With infrared roasting, it provides low acidity, and there's no bitterness, and it preserves the antioxidants and other nutrients. It's interesting to note that less than 1% of all coffees out there are organic and infrared roasted. It's a fair trade coffee. It is gluten-free. It's low glycemic, so again, it promotes healthy glucose metabolism, provides sustained energy, and the sustained energy comes from the fat burning, not from the caffeine. It's absolutely delicious. People that can't drink black coffee find that the Boresha lean coffee is very palatable, and then we have ways with our natural sweetener for those that do need a sweetener that we can make it non-cephalic, meaning that it's not going to create this triggering complex where artificial sweeteners are actually much more problematic. So absolutely delicious coffee. We also have a thermogenic lemonade that promotes the natural release of human growth hormone. It's absolutely delicious. And also a product called Boresha Fit, which is a peach mango iced tea. And again, the natural sweetener, which if your listeners or your patients haven't tried it yet, they absolutely need to try it. All the products are delicious and very unique.
We've been a big proponent since I think maybe May is when we really launched the Boresha line here on the show and in the office. And we've been handing out samples as best we can. Every so often we get an opportunity, however, to let the public try on us and give them a shot to taste these products and sample them and find out if it's something that's worth their while and worth spending their money on. And you have some information for us because we've sort of teamed up, Boresha, myself, you, with the TLS program, which is a transitions lifestyle program, a 10-week course, and it starts tomorrow. And you just revealed to me that we're going to do another tape. Why don't you take some time to describe the Boresha tasting available for those tomorrow morning just looking for something to do out in the South Hills area of Pittsburgh. Go ahead with it.
Yes, Dr. Courtney. Well, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're going to be at the office of Dr. Tyson Swigert, South Point Chiropractic and Fitness. That is located at 673 Morganza Road. When you get off at the South Point exit, make a left, and then at the top of the hill, another left, and you'll see it right there in that little strip plaza area. Patty Szymanski and Sister Sarah that have been doing an outstanding job with your TLS program will be there to launch this next phase of the TLS. Now, we're going to set up the tasting right in Dr. Swigert's reception area. So obviously the people that are in the TLS will get to sample the products, but however, somebody that is not in the TLS and wants to come and just try the products for free, get their questions answered, we'll be happy to do that right in the reception area, again, tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's a very good point to make. It is the first of the 10 classes that's going to be held each and every Saturday at 9 o'clock. I've been saying 10 o'clock. I don't know why I've been saying that. Maybe that's because last week we were supposed to meet at 10. Maybe that's why. And by the way, last week, just the gods weren't with us. We got one heck of an ice/snowstorm that even kept Patty Szymanski, who comes from Johnstown, away. She couldn't make it last week. So it looks as though that's not going to be the case this week, that those who have already decided that they want to be a member of this TLS program have already identified themselves. You still, by the way, if you're out there and you think you'd like to be involved with it, you still can do it, and you can come on out too. But if you just, as you mentioned, Dr. Mintzos, if you just like to try the products and really don't want to get involved with the TLS program, you're going to be separated by a couple of walls from the rest of the operation there, and they can come and try it just in the reception area and see if they enjoy. You'll have all three of them there, right? All three drinks.
Absolutely.
And it's a good opportunity for people to say, "Hey, let me try this on them before I get involved with this." And if they can decide to make a choice of Boresha, we'll certainly help them do that when we see them. But how about, could you mention for those who maybe can't make it tomorrow morning, maybe you're too far away, another part of town, and don't want to come out on such a cold day, how is it that you get involved with Boresha, one way or another?
Yes, well, obviously, anybody that is computer savvy, they would just go to your website, Dr. Courtney. They can search your name, and your website comes right up there. And then they go to, they can go to Pittsburgh Eye Protocol, which is actually where all your products are located.
Yeah, PittsburghEyeProtocol.com is the website for the eye protocol that we do, but it's also the site for all the products that I happen to endorse and recommend. And so on that opening page, click on the icon marked products, and you'll be taken to a site that lists all of the products that I endorse. But right on the top, the very first offering is Boresha International, and that's an easy way to click on to the site and takes you right at the Boresha International. What will they find when they hit that site?
Well, if they're interested just in purchasing the product, then they would click on product, and the list of products comes right up. They're very easy. If they want to buy at the best pricing, which would be the wholesale pricing that distributors receive, then they can click on Join Now, pay a small a fee to become a distributor, and then they would get the best, absolute best pricing. There is also a referral program whereby a distributor or even a customer can get their monthly supply for free just by referring 3 other people to the products. It's a very, very exciting way to promote the products and in return get the products for free.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I think a lot of people, especially families, I mean, they sit around anyway, the families meet, and I noticed a couple of my patients just invited like a relative over, and they say, "What do you got here?" And they start talking about Boresha. Pretty soon the person says, "Hey, how do I get involved with that?" Well, this is mushroomed into a pretty neat little situation where if you just get 3 people to purchase enough for themselves, you get your Boresha for free.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. And we all have, of course, friends and family, and it's just a very natural way of sharing the product.
All right, now Boresha made a heck of a footprint here in the Western Pennsylvania area with your help and I guess some of mine in 2014. As we move into 2015, what are the festivities and the hoopla going to be about? What's Boresha offering in the way of some flash and some maybe seminars? Anything out there that we want to inform our Pittsburghers about?
Absolutely, Dr. Courtney. Joe Giuliano, who is the #1 distributor in Boresha, will be back in Pittsburgh in a few weeks. We're looking at the end of January, and we'll have specific dates to announce here very shortly. But Joe, not only being the #1 distributor, but he actually grew up in Pittsburgh. He's a product of Keystone Oaks High School right there in the South Hills, and he enjoys coming back. His mother still lives here. He has a sister here. And we have the pleasure of having Joe back. He's going to be coming back for 2 presentations. One will be 2 different evenings. One will be at the office of Dr. Lori Lankowitz up at Balance for Wellness, beautiful new facility on Route 8 and just south of Butler. And then he's going to do another presentation at the Crown Plaza Hotel for those of us in the South Hills, probably the next night or the previous night. We got to get those dates.
I'm pretty sure, by the way, that the one, I know about Lori's operation, but I do know that the Crown Plaza is on the 28th. It's a Wednesday night, okay? And so those that sort of want to lay out their schedule, keep that in mind. If you're in the South Hills, you might want to come out and meet Joel Giuliano. He'll talk to you about the products, of course, but also a business opportunity for those that have an interest in trying to see if they can parlay Boresha into something that's financially lucrative for them. But I believe that's on the 28th. I will check that before you should mark it in stone, but at least I wanted to give our listeners an idea of where and when, at least for the venue in South Hills. And Dr. Lori Langwitz, who's really all in when it comes to Boresha, has got that brand new facility. Used to be a car sold cars. Beautiful place up there with huge showroom windows. And if you're in the northern part of town, Butler area in particular, but any parts north, I'll get information so that you can get your introduction to Boresha and to Joe Giuliano for one of those dates at the end of January. They're not firm in my mind yet. I don't know about Lori's, but I'll bring it. I'll bring that very strong message to you as soon as I get the dates.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Courtney. You know, there was a little conflict there, so we will get the exact dates for everybody, and we'll announce that shortly.
All right, so Joe's coming to town, and KO. I knew it was a Pittsburgher. I didn't realize it was KO.
Right kind of in your neighborhood now.
Absolutely, a South Hills guy.
Yes.
Okay, anything else going on with Boresha in 2015, especially the early months?
Well, this is going to be a big year. We had a company conference call for the leadership last night, and the next big event for the company is going to be in Orlando at the end of February, February 27th and 28th. You know, this is a company showcase where we come together with the owner of the company, George Najjar, who has been on your program, and you have been on his radio.
Yeah, he's the president and CEO. He's got a fascinating story. Quite a remarkable gentleman, and so approachable. I enjoyed spending an evening with him out here when he was in Pittsburgh. He loves Pittsburgh. He really does. And so he comes and travels all the way from the West Coast to come in. I'm sure he'll be here in Western Pennsylvania once or twice in the year 2015. But he's got a fondness in his heart for us because I told him at one time, my first call with the guy, hey, Pittsburgh is going to be on the map. They are on the map now. He knows of you Pittsburghers, and he is absolutely looking forward to returning as Boresha continues to grow in our area.
Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Courtney. And, you know, people this time of year like to get away to a warmer climate. I'm not an accountant, but anybody out there certainly can check with their accountant. And if you are a member of our team, a distributor within Boresha, I mean, that is a neat little tax write-off to go to Orlando, get away, maybe take a few members of the family to enjoy that part of the country. But that's going to be very exciting. We heard last night that there are going to be 3 major announcements at that event. So
hey, a little bit behind the scenes. Maybe new products?
I don't feel it just yet until everything's solidified, but they have some new people on the corporate team, and also I just heard that within the next 3 days we should have a specific date for the new and improved peach mango tea.
Oh, they're reformulating it, are they?
Yeah, yes, they are, and I know there's been a little bit of a delay on that, but they want to get it just right, and it's going to be, I mean, I think it's good now, but it's going to be even better. So we should have an announcement here shortly on that.
All right. Anything else coming up as you look out into the future? That's pretty much January, February. Anything beyond we need to know about, or nothing scheduled so far?
Well, as we put things in place, we're certainly going to announce it on your show, Dr. Courtney. Appreciate your strong voice with Boresha. I know you're on the cutting edge as new things develop, and this is certainly the next big thing in the area of nutrition.
Got to have a go-to drink, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you drink water, you're in great shape, especially purified and filtered water. But if you're drinking a sweet drink and you just love it, and that's your go-to, and that's what rescues you during the day, if it's not a Boresha product, you are making a big mistake. You think that you're being helped by it, but actually you're being hurt by it because of that cephalic response. Anything sweet that hits your tongue causes a gush of hormone, particularly insulin, and you might as well, I say, probably close to being right, you might as well have a plate of spaghetti because the hormonal gush is going to be so intense that it wasn't able to meet what you took it for. Boreshas won't do that. The Boresha product blunts the cephalic response, and as such, it is a one-of-a-kind go-to, and thermogenic, meaning it burns fat just by having drank. It's amazing stuff. It tastes wonderful. Get involved with the tasting, or just go to the website and order it in, or come to my office. I'll give you free samples of it. so you can try it and make a decision for yourself. Anything else you want to mention, Doctor?
Well, just look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and we'll have a good time.
Okay, that's the TLS launch tomorrow. If you're in the TLS program, which is Transition Lifestyle, of course, it's going to be held at 9 o'clock. I got to get this right. At 9 o'clock at Dr. Tyson Swiggert's office. That's right along the Morganza Road, but that's the South Point exit of I-79. When you get off at the exit, don't turn towards all the building for South Point. Turn away, go up the hill to the Hendersonville Light, and there you'll see a shopping plaza on your left. It's located, the office is located right there. It's the first of 10 classes, so there's still time to enroll. If you want more information on the class, you can call today at my office at 724-942-3002. Talk to Sister Sarah. And then for a Boresha tasting, if you're involved with the program or if you're not involved, come on out tomorrow morning, take an opportunity and on us to try the products and see if they'll match up to what you're looking for. I believe there may be a match there, and we'll help you get enrolled with the program. All right, Doctor?
Absolutely, Dr. Courtney. It'll be a great way to start the new year.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mitzos, for your first Boresha report of 2015. We look forward to keep bringing you back as new things begin to develop on the Boresha front. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.
Absolutely. There you have it, folks. Boresha report number 1 for 2015, and that tasting, free tasting tomorrow morning. A lot of things up and coming. Joe Giuliano coming to town. Going to be here in the South Hills. Going to be up in Butler at the Dr. Lori Langlett's operation, and we'll give you much more specific information as time moves on. All right, we're going to take a short break. And as we do, open it up to you. You might want to come on in here and set the agenda as you see it. Maybe a query on your own mind, a question, a comment, if you'd like to make one on things you've heard about. The number to do that, as you should know by now, is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We'll be back in just a moment. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHV 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you here on a Friday morning version of the show. I have now declared it Get 'em Up and Out of Town version, where you can come on in and set the agenda as you'd like to see it. You can call up to ask a question or make a comment. Anything on your mind is okay with me. The number to do that is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and I'll let you in the store. Wanted to mention a few things as we move on now in 2015 under the new guru, Dr. Ty Vincent. LDA, I believe, presented a problem for a lot of folks when it was known as LDA, and by the way, under the the guidance of Dr. William Butch Schrader, the guy who brought it here, brought the treatment here in 1993, and hundreds of thousands of patients have been able to avail themselves of the benefit of getting their allergic responses quelched, stopped, dead in their tracks, stopped. And it's due to this unique immunological approach that he developed. Well, it was Dr. Len, who from the United Kingdom was the originator of something called EPD. Well, we don't have to get down in the weeds about how EPD evolved into LDA, but as it came over here, Dr. William Butch Schrader is the one who has guided it for so many years now, 20 years plus. But there was a passing of the baton here. Dr. Schrader literally said to Ty Vincent, you know what, I pass it to you, and wear it in good health. And so Dr. Ty Vincent now comes in, and the good news that I have for those who know a bit about LDA, low-dose antigen therapy, is that I believe a problem with the Dr. Schrader approaches has been the inordinate number, I'm going to call them rules, I'll call them preps. It was pretty elaborate in terms of what you were allowed to eat, how many days advance you were allowed to eat it, what medicines you were allowed to take, which ones you weren't allowed to take. The rule book was some 60 pages long, and it almost scared, well, not almost, in many cases, it just scared people away because they said, I can't do that. I got to take this medicine or that medicine. I can't stop taking it. And so for the fear of being put in a situation where they were unprotected with medications that they were used to being at least rescued with, many did not avail themselves of this treatment known as LDA. Well, now I can tell you, and it came out in our last show with Dr. Ty Vincent. It'll come out a bit on our Monday show because I'll have him recap it. But there are no longer any rules. There are no preps. So I believe a wonderful thing if you're considering LDA in one or two categories. Either you have a classic allergic response and you're looking to get it resolved because when it comes to the allergist treatment of allergic response, it's tough to find out that the allergist can only really treat inhaled allergens. If you have a food allergy, forget it, can't be treated. And if you have a chemical allergy, likewise. LDA is one of those unique therapies that actually is able to correct, fix, reverse any of those three classical allergies in a way that you don't have to eliminate the food or when you happen to be exposed to an inhaled way or chemically. So the classical allergies really have been always extremely well dealt with, or dealt with very well, better said. And so it's just this newer area that I believe if you are involved with any autoimmune disease, any of the arthritides, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the list goes on and on and on. I think if you don't know that you have an autoimmune disease, but your treatment up till now in the conventional medical realm is that occasionally you get put on steroids to quelch a hot period where you're really inflamed. And then after a week or two, you're taken off the steroids. If that is your treatment approach that you've had to bear up under for many, many months to years, you probably are autoimmune because the shutting on and off of your immune system is the only way you could help, the doctors could help intervene in that regard. And so what you need to know now is that can all be reversed, that can all be stopped so that you do not require steroids, and then ultimately you're able to reverse the process so it doesn't happen anymore. And we'll let it go with that. Hey, we got a knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I have a question about Ty Vincent. I did hear the first interview that you did with him, and curious that he talked so much about the vitamin D. Pardon?
Yes, the vitamin. He's a big proponent of vitamin D. You got that message loud and clear.
Right, and that you know, that he found when people got their vitamin D blood level up, I think he said to like 120 to 150, that they did, you know, that was kind of one of the only things that he suggested people do. So my question for him or you is then, is he even suggesting that someone wait to start the LDI and to, you know, get the blood level up and then start it?
Well, I can tell you that knowing Ty and how he manages patients that he comes and meets for the first time, he doesn't put them on any delay. It's not a matter of saying, oh, why don't you just wait until we help get your vitamin D level up? No, he's going to plow and has plowed right in to their immunological issues, but at the same time, he's made a big fuss about using generous amounts of vitamin D. Just to put this into context for listeners out there that may not be as familiar as you appear to be with vitamin D, you know, there was a time when 400 units of vitamin D was all you could get in any supplement. That was a scary set of times back when they thought vitamin D was actually toxic. What we've learned now is it's not toxic. What also we've learned now is, because we're in Pittsburgh or Western Pennsylvania, just about everybody has so low a vitamin D level that they really do need to have at least around 10,000 units a day, 10,000 over the course of 8 months to a year, to get their blood levels up to at least 90 to 100 nanograms per deciliter. Forget about that last stuff. The number 90 to 100. What I'm finding patients in their innate state is, if they're Western Pennsylvania, their vitamin D levels are less than 20, and the normal ranges start at 30 to 33. Well, putting those numbers into context, what we learned from Ty Vincent, because I don't know if you heard the little experiment he did with himself. He put himself on 50,000 units a day for 3 months and took his own level up to about 150. I guess the point is, no one needs to take those mega doses, but at 150 nanograms per deciliter, he was feeling just fine. There was no toxic reaction whatsoever. I think the conclusion is you don't get toxic from vitamin D at all, and that because it enhances so many aspects of the human condition, immune just being one of them, you're benefited and your response to LDA is solidified. He claims that his patients do so well because he's always working to build up that vitamin D level. We've taken his inclination and his hint, and we put it into practice ourselves. It's a great idea to do vitamin D, but you do not have to wait to get your vitamin D level up in order to start LD. We call it LDI now, not LDA, but those treatments are available immediately. And pay attention on Monday. You're probably going to listen to the show with Ty on Monday, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, he'll be back.
So that, I don't have to wait. The other question I would have for him is, does he have a particular brand of vitamin D3 that he recommends? Because what I've read is that, I usually take an emulsion, which is an oil. But I have read that that the micellized, there was a study done on it by Great Plains Labs, that the micellized really raised the blood level much quicker. It was like 5 times better absorbed than the other, emulsified or oil version.
I'm familiar with that study, by the way. And the only thing I'd say about vitamin D, first of all, in its standard forms, sold by virtually every supplement company I know of, those forms are relatively inexpensive, okay? So the one nice thing about vitamin D, nobody's going to the poorhouse because they're taking vitamin D. When you get to the micellized and specialized forms, there is a price increase, but they're much better absorbed. So it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen another. If you just stay on any form, and I would say I've never heard Dr. Ty Vincent make a big deal about the form. He's just made a big deal about the dose and that it needs to be kept up for quite some time. I will promise you, I will ask him specifically in case I have missed, and I've been in his presence a number of times. Does he have a specific go-to form? I would want my listeners to know. If he does, because he makes such a big fuss about vitamin D, maybe he has a special brand, but he hadn't mentioned it to us up to this point. I promised to ask him on, well, I'll be asking him tomorrow as I record the show, but you can hear the answer on Monday. Make sure you pay and then dial it up.
That sounds great. And my last question is, so in your office then, doing the new protocols, the LDI, when will you be starting those?
Well, we had to wait in the month of December until Dr. Ty Vincent sent us down what I'll call the new mixtures. There's the standard mixtures that we have always received from college pharmacy, but Dr. Ty Vincent has about 4 mixtures he personally made that are quite successful with these autoimmune diseases that were not and have not been made by college. We got our supply of them in December, and then I had to spend a special day with Dr. Roy Carey in making the dilutions. The answer to your question is, we've been set to go since the 3rd week in December, and we're prepared to start immediately with anybody who wants to perform or have LDI performed. There's no longer a need for a wait, and without rules anymore. You know, those rules, I don't know if you were familiar with them, but they were pretty onerous and very difficult to follow. I followed them to the letter because I believed you had to follow them to the letter. We find out Dr. Ty Vincent, who's never obeyed a rule, any rule ever, that you don't have to do it, which makes this all doable. You can just come in and don't have to prep at all.
I mean, it's an amazing difference. I am familiar with the rules because I do have the literature from your office, and it's overwhelming.
Oh yeah, there's 60 pages there. You get bogged down in nosebleeds. It scares the bejesus out of you, and you go, I can't do this. Well, we don't hand that booklet out anymore. We want to look. Dr. Schrader presented us with a wonderful therapy, and let's say he was overly cautious at best, but so onerous were the rules that it made this to be a yeoman's effort when it doesn't have to be. I'm happy to see that we can disband them. There are 2 people, however, that might have to use some rules. One would be a person who doesn't really respond at all when all other signs show that they should be. Well, we probably should have the rules put into play for them. I understand that's very rare. And then there would be those who are already doing LDA who are expecting a certain response. And then when we do LDI, same thing now, their responses aren't as good as they previously were. That would be a sign for both myself and the patient to look toward using some of those rules. But we're not going to use any of those rules on anybody at the start.
Thank you very much. I'll be calling you up to set up an appointment.
Hey, listen on Monday. I'll be looking forward to see you, and I promise to ask that vitamin D question, all right?
Thank you very much.
There you go. Great question. Very timely. LDI. The difference in the A's and the I's. Look, it's been known as low-dose antigen therapy. And Dr. Ty Vincent says, you know what, we're really doing immunotherapy anyway, so LDI is low-dose immunotherapy. It's the same set of mixtures with some new ones added that he has put his own stamp of approval on. In fact, he's literally mixed them up and then sent them out to the selected doctors. There are 90 total who have been involved with LDA, and there's only a percentage of them, not all of them, who are able to do the LDI with the new mixtures. So I get a better beat on how many of the 90, I ask him that question too, how many of the 90 are actually all in with respect to these newer mixtures, and I think Dr. Ty Vincent will be able to answer that question. All right, let's do this. Coming off that gun lap, and then I'm going to take another short break, giving you an opportunity, if you want to switch some gears, to dial me up in that home stretch coming around the corner part of the show just before we sign off for the weekend. And the number to do it, if you want to get in on this, is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll be back in just a moment. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Here on a Friday morning, get 'em up, out of town version of the show. Come on in if you want to ask a question or make a comment. The number to do that, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We are launching our TLS program tomorrow. If you want to be a part of it, dial us up and talk to Sister Sarah today, 724-942-3002. If you have an interest in our eye protocol at the Pittsburgh Eye Protocol for the 19th, 20th, and 21st, do the same number, same Sister Sarah, and she'll help guide you in on that one too. Hey, we have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I have been plagued with allergies all my life. I've done the routine of allergy shots, and that didn't do anything. So I've kind of waited until now, and I was listening to the programs on LDA, and just as the person before me said, it just looked like it was just a program that was going to be hard to stick to. This LDI, I'm curious about the number of different allergens you can put into this.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's talk about the two components. There's the classical allergies, and essentially they are in three arenas. One, inhaled allergens. Two, food allergens, and three, chemicals. Now, let's take. I'd like to talk about the food one because I think that's the most interesting one. People have all sorts of reactions to foods. Some are immediate, others are delayed. That's the tricky one because you eat a food that you don't tolerate too well, and you show no sign or symptom after immediately having eaten it. But 4 or 5 days later, you have a set of symptoms you can't explain. It'll bug the heck out of you trying to figure that out. Well, those are delayed hypersensitivity reactions. I don't believe you can ever really get a hold of knowing which foods they were. Interestingly enough, in the mixtures that we have, all foods, I want to underline that word all foods, every food known to man is represented in that mixture. And if it's not directly found in there, it has a cross-reactivity component that will allow it to respond. So if you think that you have a food allergy, or you don't even know, you just know that you have some funny sensations and you can't explain it, food allergies might very well be the answer to that question, and you'll want to get the food allergies. The safe thing about them is that they are a dilution of 10 to the 17th, which makes them so dilute, they're 3 dilutions shy of homeopathic. Now, the safety component is another thing that really intrigues me about LDI or LDA, because at that level of dilution, you cannot be harmed in any way. No one has ever suffered any harm from doing LDA or LDI or LD, whatever number you want to put after that. So that's the good news.
Now, I do believe I probably have something in all 3 of those categories, but I also have a low thyroid, which I'm on medication for. Now, is that part of the autoimmune treatment?
Well, if you have thyroid issues, they would come in the standard type where you just don't have enough thyroid hormone, or there are some people who have their thyroid gland that's being attacked by their immune system. The name of that disorder is called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's easily enough to determine whether you may be afflicted in that way, because all you have to do is order a blood test for antibodies to find out if you have antibodies against your own thyroid gland. And so if you do, now we're in the autoimmune category, and so you may require, if you have a Hashimoto component, to get additional allergens for that particular. So that's another mixture altogether different. So the foods, the inhaleds, and the chemicals, those are the standard classical allergies that we do so well with. But all the autoimmune, and Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. If your thyroid problem is made complex by having an autoimmune component, this is the only treatment I know of. There is none in conventional medicine to help rectify that problem. That's a fascinating potential to allow you to quelch and quash that kind of response. It's just you can't know that you have that autoimmune component unless you're tested for it, and it's an easy enough blood test to perform. So we'll be happy to do it.
Now I do have the Hashimoto's.
Okay, then if you do, then we document what the quantifiable amount of antibodies are. We use the mixture. In the case of Hashimoto's, the mixture is called Yersinia. That's the name of a bacteria. And at the end of a year, we should be able to test out and show that all of your antibodies are now at 0, which would be the confirmation that you no longer have any immunological component. So it's thrilling to see that that's the possibility, and in actuality that can result when you actually treat Hashimoto's. And it's embarrassing to say that the conventional world has no treatment for Hashimoto's at all, as you probably already know.
Would this be given at the same time?
Yep.
The other.
That's exactly right. Given at the same time.
Other 3 are given?
Yep, sure. So if you need the 4th mixture, no problem. Thanks for your question right at the end. That's a very appropriate one. Okay, folks, we're here at the gong. I got those triple blasts. It's time to get out of here. Look, like to see you tomorrow. Absolutely want to hear and see you on Monday. I won't be here live, but the show will be with Ty Vincent, and I'll be with you back again here on Wednesday the 14th. So until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AIM Impact on Your Health.